telling you.
You know when you first lay eyes on that new upcoming game? It looks awesome, right? Can't wait to get some more information about it, can you? Oh look, some new screenshots and a trailer, and it's cancelled. Annoying, isn't it? Yep, we've all been there. It's happened to some of our favourite franchises and even some promising new ones. However, for one reason or another, some of the most amazing looking games never make it to our consoles. And with that in mind, allow me to present to you my top 10 games I'd love to play if they hadn't been canned. Now, just a couple of rules before we get started. Number 1, the usual 1 game per franchise rule. And number 2, these games are ordered in which games I would like to play the most. So with all that said, that's enough stalling. Let's get the show on the road! Why did my voice go so high then? Alright, admittedly this first one's a bit of a cheaping as it got an actual release, but Shenmue, released December 29th, 1999 in Japan, November 8th, 2000 in the US, and December 1st, 2000 in Europe, was critically received as one of the greatest games of all time. It boasted some of the most realistic visuals for its time, had a real-time weather system, hundreds of NPCs living their day-to-day lives, a solid combat system, and a captivating plot. It was trumpeted as one of the Dreamcast's killer apps and was expected to shift consoles left, right, and center. Despite all of that, however, sales of the Dreamcast just weren't picking up, and when a lack of console sales led to a lack of game sales, it was considered a commercial failure, not even managing to break even on its whopping $80 million production budget. And if you think that's bad, did you know that Shenmue was originally planned for... wait for it. The Sega Saturn. Yeah, conceptualized in 1996 under the title Virtua Fighter RPG Akira's Story, the game would have served as an origin story for Virtua Fighter series mainstay Akira Yuki. It would have followed the same plot as Shenmue 1 and 2 and would have pushed the Sega Saturn to its limit. But the game's scale was getting too big for the Sega Saturn, and due to the Sega Saturn's poor sales, it was pushed back to be developed for the Dreamcast. Because that totally fixed everything, didn't it? A trailer for the prototype was included in Shenmue 2 as an unlockable and is the only known footage available. So you may be wondering, why would I want to play an earlier version of a game released on a more powerful console? Well,
because I'm a massive Shenmue fan.
You know, the kind that cried happy tears when the sequel I've been waiting 14 years for was finally announced. Hell, I put my money down as soon as the Kickstarter campaign launched. So why wouldn't I want to play what is essentially a beta version of one of my favourite games of all time? But being as that's not a possibility, I guess I'll just have to settle for the Dreamcast version. Kidding! I love this game! I'm gonna play it now! This video's over, screw you! Okay, fine, I'll wait till the video's over. God, I hate you people already! Okay, this one's a cheat as well, but my list, my rules. Now, if you'll excuse me... When Resident Evil was released for the Sony PlayStation in March of 1996 in Japan and America, followed by a European release in August that same year, the game was a huge success, selling over 5 million copies worldwide and later receiving reports to the Sega Saturn, PC, and in 2006 the Nintendo DS. It was renowned for its realistic graphics, tight gameplay mechanics, captivating story, and terrific voice... Oh, sorry. I could not say that with a straight face. I mean, listen to this.
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right.
Due to said successful release, development on a sequel began almost immediately. Set 2 months after the events of the first game, it followed the story of rookie police officer Leon S. Kennedy, and previous game main character Chris Redfield's sister Claire, as they both venture into Raccoon City for the first time, a town that had been overridden by the undead after a viral outbreak. But that's not how it originally happened. As stated earlier, development of the sequel began almost immediately, but the result was actually drastically different from what we got. Known nowadays as Resident Evil 1.5, the plot was similar to the final version, but was very conclusive, thus eliminating the logical need for any more games in the series. The RPD police precinct had a bit more of a modern feel about it rather than the art gallery/museum look. The gameplay remains similar with slight changes such as character models changing to show damage, as well as the ability to equip gear which raised defense. However, the biggest change was the cast of characters. For one thing, there was no Claire Redfield. Instead, we were given Elza Walker, a university student with a love for motorbikes. RPD officer Martin Branagh? I haven't got a clue how to pronounce this, was given a much bigger role as a supporting character to Leon, as well as John, aka Robert Kendo, who became a support character for Claire. Sorry, Elsa. The game was 95% complete when Capcom decided they weren't happy with it and made the tough call to cancel it and begin from scratch, releasing a playable demo with copies of Resident Evil Director's Cut as a way of apologising for its delayed launch. Trailers for Resident Evil 1.5 floated around the internet until 2015, when Capcom announced they would be remaking Resident Evil 2 for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC. Apart from the fact that it will be a full remake in the vein of 2002's Resident Evil remake for the Nintendo GameCube, details are sketchy. Maybe it will incorporate some elements from Resident Evil 1.5, but until we get some more info, you can check out the ROM of Resident Evil 1.5 released in 2015. What? You can actually play it now? Well, what the f*** is it doing on the list, you? Okay, I'm cheating again and I'm sorry, but this is the last time, okay? Promise. Online is a staple in gaming nowadays. Nearly every game has some sort of online component, whether it be multiplayer, co-op, or even just leaderboards. And it all started in 1998 with the Sega Dreamcast. Well, actually, it started a lot earlier than that, but upon researching it, it would take too long to explain, so let's just go with the Dreamcast as a starting point. Coming equipped with a modem and a 32-foot phone cable, it allowed gamers to hook up to the internet via a dial-up collection and use the Dreamcast's online service, Dream Arena, or SegaNet if you live in the US, where players could post scores onto leaderboards, download extra content, and play games with other people around the world. So essentially everything you could do now, but on a much smaller scale, I guess. So with this functionality, the Dreamcast needed games, and in 1998, Sega began development of the first console MMO, Phantasy Star Online. Released on December 21st, 2000 in Japan, January 29th, 2001 in North America, and February 23rd, 2001 in Europe, it took the Phantasy Star series in a whole new direction. That's right, gone were the turn-based battles, which were replaced with a hack-and-slash playstyle. The series was ushered into 3D for the first time with some of the prettiest visuals available, and it also featured a fully orchestrated and futuristic soundtrack. The game also had an offline mode with 4 difficulty settings for people who couldn't connect to the internet, which included me because back then my mother wouldn't let me connect to the internet. Fast forward 10 years and at the Phantasy Star Portable 2 Phantasy Star Portable 2 Infinity... Phantasy Star Portable... Oh god, I've lost it already! Phantasy Star Portable Infinity Nationwide Fan Thanks Festival 2011, Sega announced Phantasy Star Online 2. God, that was a mouthful. A direct sequel to the Dreamcast game to be released on the PC and PS Vita. Gameplay would remain similar to the original game with a few changes such as jumping, attacking in mid-air, dashing and teleporting to evade attacks, and the ability to charge attacks and techniques for more damage. It was released in Japan on July 4th, 2012, with a European and American release scheduled for 2013. Until those plans were cancelled. So why haven't we seen a Western release yet? Sega just won't say. There have been several announcements of a Western version and even an English localization released in Japan, but Sega is staying tight-lipped about it. Until we get any news though, I'll just have to play Phantasy Star Universe on... Oh wait, those servers have been shut down. You know what? F*** you, Sega. Now this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm not a big fan of indie games. Yeah, I said it. But every now and again a few indie games slip through the net. A few recent examples being Papers, Please, Freedom Planet and Pure Pool. But the one that caught my eye the most back in 2012 was Fez. With its delightfully colourful and retro-esque visuals and a chiptune soundtrack, it sucked me in from the moment I loaded it up. A 2D puzzle platformer set in a 3D environment, Fez upon release rounded up an average review score of 9 out of 10 from many different websites and magazines, and reaped in rewards left, right and centre. Is that seriously the second time I've used that line? A fact that went straight to game creator Phil Fisher's head. Believing himself to be an indie game development god, Fish began lashing out at anyone who criticised his creations and attitude towards the game industry, with such classic tweets as... I'm sorry, Japanese guy, I was a bit rough, but your country's games are fucking terrible nowadays. Compare your life to mine, then kill yourself. If $9 is too much for you, then please, do me a favor, just steal it, then shut the fuck up about it. Hey, guess what? I can set the price myself on Steam. Fez is now $90. Believing he could do no wrong, Fish and Polytron announced Fez 2 as One More Thing at E3 2013, and the indie gaming community rejoiced. 1 month later, however, Fish got into an argument with a games journalist and went into full-blown man-child mode, cancelling Fez 2 on Polytron's website with the following statement: Fez 2 is cancelled. I am done. I take the money and I run. This is as much as I can stomach. This isn't the result of any one thing, but the end of a long, bloody campaign. You win. Since then, Fish has deleted his Twitter account, reinstated his Twitter account, and, in an indication that the money he ran away with may be running out, announced a $100 collector's edition of Fez, complete with a copy of the game, a soundtrack, and a hardback embossed notebook. Could this be a sign that Fish is getting back into the games industry and we will be getting Fez 2? Probably not, but we can all hope one day maybe he puts his douchebaggery to one side. Either that or we never hear from him again and somebody else makes Fez 2. That'd be sweet. When I bought an Xbox at the tail end of 2002, there wasn't a lot of games I wanted for it other than Jet Set Radio Future, Panzer Dragoon Auto, and an English language port of Shenmue 2. I picked up a couple of games here and there, such as The House of the Dead 3, WWF Raw, and Halo. But apart from those, there wasn't really anything to look forward to, and my Xbox started to collect dust. Then in 2004, a friend lent me a game that he described as one of the best RPGs he had ever played, and that game's name was Fable. An action RPG set in a fantasy land known as Albion. You play as, well, you. After seeing your father get murdered, your mother and sister kidnapped, and your home village burnt to the ground, you're then taken in by a legendary hero known as Maze, who trains and prepares you for your lifelong mission of taking revenge by either eliminating the bandits and overall bad guy Jack of Blades by taking his place as the most feared hero in the land, or saving the land from his evil tyranny. It was very well received, garnering good reviews across the board. So good, in fact, that it received 2 sequels, 2 spin-off games, a HD remaster, and became one of Microsoft's most valuable exclusive franchises. So in 2013, Xbox fans rejoiced when Lionhead Studios announced Fable Legends, an online cooperative take on the series set 100 years before the original game. Each player would control a different hero who would have different abilities, except for one player who would play as the villain and control the world around the heroes, placing enemies, traps, and even the final boss of the quest. It was to use a free-to-play model and was scheduled to be released December 14th, 2015, but was delayed until 2016. But on March 7th of this year, due to waning interest, Microsoft announced the cancellation of Fable Legends, and as another blow, the closure of Lionhead Studios. The closed beta was shut down and players were refunded for their in-game purchases. Xbox One owners then proceeded to show their displeasure over the news, as the game was touted as one of the console's big upcoming exclusives. But wait, it didn't end just like that, because just 2 months after the cancellation of Fable Legends, a group of former Lionhead developers announced Fable Fortune, a game based off Hearthstone but set in the Fable universe. A Kickstarter campaign is currently in progress to raise the required $250,000 to complete development. I'll throw a link in the description for those of you who want to donate, but personally, I'll pass. I don't really like card games. So that's it so far. Were you looking forward to any of these games? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, a big shout out to Mindpower, who provided the footage for Phantasy Star Online 2. Click here to go check out his channel. He does some great playthroughs and some how-to videos as well. Also, don't forget to check out part 2 of this video. You can follow me on Twitter at Angle486 for updates on when it's uploaded. And you can like me on Facebook for updates there as well. That's it from me today, however, so thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you all soon.